Hi guys, so in this video we're actually going to see how to import packages into our Flutter app, and we're also going to see how to make an API call with the package you're going to get from the Flutter's repository of packages. So currently I've removed the HTTP package, so that I'm going to show you demo how to actually get a package. So you see that here we're having an error. Oh, sorry. So now we are going to go to pop.dev, and pop.dev is Flutter's repository, official repository of every package that is actually available. So we're going to search for HTTP and we click on this. Now you're going to see something like a readme, a changelog, an example, and installing. You are more interested in installing. Now, since Flutter 2.0, there are now two ways of getting a Flutter package. Initially, we had only one, and this is how we actually did it initially. So you just copy this. Like, you observe that this is actually dependencies, then you copy just the package that is directly under it. So when you copy that, you go to your pubspec YAML, that's this file here. Then under dependencies, not dev dependencies but dependencies itself, and this is important because dev dependencies are packages that you as the developer need while you're actually building the app. So maybe most of the times you find things like code generators in that place, because you don't need code generator on your app proper. You only need the code generator to just do something for you while you're building the Flutter app. So we just add this package here, and we try to make sure that this H aligns with this F. Like, if you form a straight line from this F downwards, you should actually like see that it's supposed to be the same. Like, it's supposed to be one straight line with the F. And moving this package in here is actually going to be an error, and moving it out here should be an error too. But if I move it out here, you will notice that Flutter is actually going to permit me to import this package, but this is actually illegal, and I'm going to show you why. If I have this installed like this and I put another package that matches with this F, now it's going to be an error. So it's safer to just put it with this, like where this F is, because if you see, if I move it this way, you're going to see that we're going to get an error. Yeah, there's an error. So if I just need to move it here and everything will be fine. I see that is now going to fix the current issue you're having. Moving it out here, you could install the package without any issues, but you might have problems while importing the package. So it is just safe that you leave it where it is supposed to be, and that will be here. And if it is here, you're very sure that if you import the package, you're not supposed to be having any issues. So while I'm waiting for this package to install, I'm actually going to come down here to show you what we've already done, or what I've already written. And this is just a simple class. I just named the class API call class, and we have a future. In the previous video we had a future of string, but here we're having a future of list article, and this list article comes from this news articles class. It is one of the variables here, but this is actually the class itself. So since it's a class, you can actually like do something like this. List is already a type within Flutter or within that. So this is a list of articles. I want to return a list of articles because the news we actually like saw here is a list. So articles is actually a list or bunch of articles. So we need a list of it. So we have the name of the function, which is just get news. Then we made it asynchronous because there's going to be a bunch of things we have to be waiting for. So we have a try block, and the try block actually like ends here. This is where the catch starts from, although I have started with on socket exception, but this is the catch block here. Everything here is the catch. So we are trying, and what we are going to do is we are going to try to make the API call. So final news await http.get. So http.get means we are trying to perform a get request. And if you notice, when we actually like went here, you see something like this, get. And most of the APIs you're going to come across, when they are being documented, you are being told the type of request you can make to that particular endpoint. So This endpoint now we can only make get request to it, and some other endpoints could be post, some could be put, some could be patch, some could be delete, whatever it is. But the developer is going to make sure that he lets you know that this is what you can actually like perform on this particular endpoint. And in this case, we're actually going to be doing a get request. So we have http.get, and this URI pass is just what you use to actually like pass in the URL. So you use URI pass, then you pass in the URL to it as a string. Then the next thing we are going to do, I'm going to do an if check, and what I'm doing the if check is to check that the status code is actually correct. So a status code of 200 means that we've actually reached the server and the server is sending us something. Since we are actually awaiting this, if I remove this await now, you'll see that this is actually going to become an issue down here, because it's supposed to be waiting. Okay, it's going to become dynamic news. And if I erase this now and I do dots, you'll see that we just have hash code runtime to string and no such method. But if I add the await now that is now going to know that, oh, this is not supposed to be dynamic. There are other things that could actually like happen. Or I think why I'm having this issue currently is because it's still trying to get the Flutter package. But so status code is equal to 200, and status code just lets you know, okay, this is actually okay, and we can continue going ahead, we can continue moving ahead. So the next thing I do it is collect the list itself. So from what we already know, this articles here is going to be a list. So an iterable is a type of list. I'm going to show you what I mean. So see, a collection of values or elements that can be accessed sequentially. Elements of an iterable are accessed by getting an iterator using the iterator getter. So I want to iterate over the list, like I want to move over the list, like something like say a for loop or something. I just want to perform list operations on what I'm going to be getting as an article. So articles, yeah. Then this here is now me trying to convert. So essentially, when you make this API call, this is what Flutter actually gets. It gets this raw string of mumbo jumbo and everything. And once you pass it into this particular function here that is called JSON decode, and you get this JSON decode from the .convert library. This .convert, this particular one, .convert is where you actually get the JSON decode, and I'm going to show you that now. So if I remove it, you see that we actually have an error here, and you can just do, and you get it back. I've imported that convert back into the file. And so JSON decode news.body is a string, but JSON decode is converting it into JSON, is converting it into that object. And here, this index, this list format I'm actually like using, I can actually remove it, but why I'm adding it here is because out of everything that we actually like see out here, so everything we are going to be seeing here, what I just need is the articles. I don't need this status or okay, I don't need this total result. I just need the articles. That's the only thing I'm interested in. So I'm getting the articles out of everything. So what we're actually getting here currently is everything from within here, like everything from here downwards. That's what I'm actually getting here, and I can actually iterate over it. So I then return the raw JSON. I've named it raw JSON. So raw JSON.map article, and now I can undo article.from JSON. Remember when we created the .json method, and we said that it actually helps us in deserializing or reorganizing the data objects to their proper, how they're supposed to be properly organized. So this article here now, I wish I could print it out to you, but I can't because Flutter has not actually gotten this, that's the HTTP package back. But essentially what we have here, this article you're seeing there represents every single thing. So it represents what you're seeing from here to here. That's an article. It has the source, the ID, the name, author. It has the title, description. It has the URL image, publish that, and the content. That's what this is actually holding. So you then pass it into this place and convert it back to a list and return it. That's what you want to do. And this here, like I said, this is bad. Like, doing this is not actually the best when it comes to handling errors. That's why I actually like added the on-socket exception where I threw the actual exception. So on-socket exception just means that, oh, you're having network issue. That's why you're saying you're not connected to the internet. Then you throw this error. Then any other error that actually like occurs, I just use the catch block and pass in error. Then I tell it to throw the error with this. So it just throws this error with .string. And once there's any other error that occurs that I didn't actually like know about, it's going to actually like tell me what the error is in the front end. So I think that will be that in explaining the making of an API call in Flutter, and I'm going to get back to you guys when I fix what's actually going on with my Flutter get. So I think that will be enough for this video. In the next video, we're actually going to go to the next part. I think the next part will be where we actually like talk about the failure class that I actually like made. Then I think we're now going to talk about the UI itself, like the front end of the entire app. Thank you.